Most people have heard of Dragon Ball. They've seen the memes, the yelling, the glowing hair, and they think, oh yeah, just another anime about fighting. But the truth is, Dragon Ball is so much more than that. To me, and to millions of others, it's a story that shaped who we are. A story that taught us discipline, growth, and resilience. And it all starts with a kid named Goku. Left alone in the mountains as a child, Goku learned to survive on his own. Not through anger or hate, but through focus and discipline. He wasn't just strong. He was kind, curious, and always willing to learn. And when he met people from completely different worlds, Bulma, Yamcha, Master Roshi, he didn't judge them. He grew from them. Different cultures, different mindsets, but he listened, adapted, evolved. That's when I realized Dragon Ball wasn't just about fighting. It was about connection, challenge, and most of all, improvement. Before all the tournaments, before the villains and transformations, there was just Goku. Living alone in the mountains, eating wild food, training with nature. He had no idea what the outside world even looked like. But then came Bulma. She came from a different world. Cities, gadgets, science. And she had this device. The Dragon Radar. She was searching for magical orbs and one of them just happened to be with him. She wanted to gather them all to get her wish, but Goku didn't want to handle his Dragon Ball as it was given to him by his grandpa. Eventually, Bulma convinced him to team up with her as his grandpa would be proud if he travels the world and see new adventures. She was looking for strength to protect her. And just like that, they weren't just searching for Dragon Balls. They were building a friendship. That radar soon led them to a small island far off in the ocean, home of the legendary turtle hermit, Master Roshi. And that moment, that was the beginning of Goku's path to becoming not just strong but wise. When Goku discovered that Roshi trained his grandpa Gohan, he didn't ask for power, he asked to train. When Krillin first showed up to Roshi's island, he wasn't there to make friends, he wanted to win. Bullied at the Orin Temple, mocked and mistreated, Krillin was hungry to prove himself, hungry for respect. He didn't expect to meet a kid like Goku, a kid with a tail, stronger than anyone he'd seen. Krillin wanted strength for pride. Goku wanted strength to grow, and slowly that changed Krillin. He stopped chasing strength for the wrong reasons and started training for himself, not to prove people wrong, but to prove he could rise. Because deep down, Krillin wasn't training to fight others. He was training to fight his own fear. But that training wasn't glamorous. There were no Kamehameha waves or any fancy techniques. It was waking up before sunrise. Delivering milk across towns with crates in both hands, running. Climbing mountains, dodging bees, plowing fields. It was hard. And Goku loved it. Every punch, every push-up, every chore, he gave it his all. Not because someone told him to, but because he had a vision to become the best version of himself. And that hit me. That fire, that drive to improve every single day, it started shaping my life. Because I didn't just want to exist, I wanted to build something, I wanted to be something. Even when he lost to Master Roshi at the tournament disguised as Jackie Chun. He didn't quit. Goku doesn't explicitly say, I promise to win next time. However, his determined expression in the context of the fight, where he pushed Jackie Chun to his limits, strongly imply that he intends to train harder and win the next tournament. That mindset, I carry it with me every time I fail, in life, in my career. It's not about never falling, it's about getting up stronger. Back in the early days, Yamcha wasn't comic relief. He was a bandit, skilled, smart, dangerous. He robbed travelers in the desert and had one hidden goal, to conquer his fear of girls, so he could finally confess to Bulma. But then, he met Goku. And that flipped everything. Yamcha saw something different in him. A raw kind of strength, untamed, pure. Yamcha dropped the act. He trained under Master Roshi. He entered the tournament. And sure, He never caught up to Goku, but he never quit. He kept showing up for the battles, for the friends, for Earth, because in Dragon Ball, strength isn't just about power levels. It's about showing up when it matters. Before redemption, there was pride. Tien was a student of the Crane School, taught to dominate, taught that mercy was weakness. When he entered the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, he crushed Yamcha, mocked his opponents, cold, focused, untouchable. But then, he fought Goku, a fighter who battled with honor, not hatred, a pure soul who fought to grow. That fight, it didn't just change the leaderboard, it changed Tien. Goku didn't beat Tien in the ring. He defeated the mindset that shaped him, and later, when they met again at the 23rd tournament, Tien gave it his all. But Goku won, after an intense battle, because Goku didn't crush his enemies. He inspired them to rise. There was a time Goku wasn't just fighting rivals, he was taking on an entire army. The Red Ribbon Army had weapons, soldiers, towers, machines. And a kid named Goku said, "I'll stop them." Not for revenge, but because they were hurting people. True strength? It's not about flashy fights. It's about standing up for what's right, even when you're outnumbered. Some lessons came from pain. Real pain. Before Krillin, Goku had already lost Grandpa Gohan, the man who raised him, the one who gave him love. That scar never fully healed. Then he lost Krillin, killed by King Piccolo. And something inside Goku broke again. He wasn't fighting to save the world. He was fighting to protect the people he loved. He trained harder than ever and beat King Piccolo. Stepped into the room of spirit and time as a kid, enduring pressure no one should face. And eventually, he faced Piccolo again. Not the king, the reincarnation, smarter, stronger, more dangerous. And Goku almost died. But he won. For the first time ever, he became World Martial Arts Champion. Not because he wanted a trophy, but because he grew. And in the middle of all that chaos, Chi-Chi was watching. Not just a warrior, but someone who kept getting back up. And she believed in him. So did we. That was the end of the original Dragon Ball. A story that began with a lost kid and ended with a warrior who never stopped growing. But to me, that wasn't just a story, it was a blueprint. As a kid, I didn't just watch Goku. I felt him, his hunger to be better, his love for learning, and his obsession with growth. And I carried that mindset into everything I did, whether I was grinding in any activity. Long nights of failing, learning, and trying again. I'm still chasing what Goku chased, growth, because Dragon Ball didn't just entertain us, it inspired us to fight, to grow, to never settle. And that's why Dragon Ball isn't just an anime, it's a way of life.